Hey guys, thanks for coming to this video. I'm going to be talking about my brows. I look a little weird right now with no brows or eye makeup on, but I'm going to show you my current routine for doing my brows. So if you want to see how I do my brows, let's get into it. So brows are very important to your look. I think they can age you a lot or even make you look very young. If you have very sparse brows like mine, I would suggest filling them in, especially if you're doing a full face of makeup, because if you don't fill in your brows and you have foundation and lipstick and mascara and eyeliner and eyeshadow, it just kind of looks really unbalanced. I've pretty much filled in my brows since I was like 14 or 15, I think. But then they didn't have a lot of brow products. So I remember I would go to the drugstore and I would get, I think it was a CoverGirl. They had like a twin pack of dark brown eyeliner. It wasn't for your brows, but they didn't have anything at the drugstore for brows. So I would just get this dark brown eyeliner pencil and I would fill in my brows and they looked really bad. There's even a time when my eyebrows, I plucked them to way back here and that's where they started. And if I can find some pictures, I'll put them up. But it's really embarrassing how I did my brows. And I don't know why nobody told me that they looked that crazy. And I don't know. Anyways, now we have so much amazing brow products, even at the drugstore. So even for a couple of bucks, you can get really great brow products. And it just depends on what your brows are like, what you want to do with them, as to what products you're going to want. So I'm going to talk about the things that I use. And this is my current brow routine. I do switch it up a lot, so this is just what I'm doing now. So I do use the Benefit Gimme. How did that happen? The Benefit Gimme Brow. This is it's like a tinted brow gel thing with like little fibers in it. So it's going to add color, some color, but also kind of help fill in and thicken your natural brow. So this is great for somebody like me that has very sparse brows, and I just like to do this first. Then I go in. Recently I've been using the NYX micro brow pencil, and it's just a very fine tip retractable brow pencil. I think it's about $6, so that's a really good price. I do love the Anastasia Brow Wiz and the brow definer, but those are like $21, $22. And when you use them as much as I do, it goes pretty quick. So if you can find one at the drugstore that you like, then that's even better. And even the Gimme Brow I have used from Essence, they make a very similar product that's like $2.99. I'm not sure how much this one is, but probably about $20, $25. So it just depends on your preference as to whether you want to go to the drugstore and get some cheaper versions, or if you like to get the more expensive brands and splurge on your makeup. When you're doing your brows a different way, like it could age you. So that could be in either having very sparse brows, because when you're getting older, you do have like hair loss and stuff. So it could just make you look like you're losing hair in your brows. But also it can age you in the fact of doing your brows like from a different time. Like if you're doing those little tiny pencil thin eyebrows like that are more curved, like it just looks like you haven't changed your eyebrow shape in 20-30 years. Or if you're doing where it's like more rounded and then kind of goes really skinny up, like I don't even know what you call that, but like that's not the trend anymore. And that's one thing that's like, if you're not really into makeup trends or anything, that's one thing that you should try to follow at least a little bit, is eyebrow trends. Because if you keep doing the same eyebrow, it's gonna really date your look. And I see it a lot, and it's just not flattering. So now the trend is more thicker, fuller brow, but not too much. For a while there, a couple years ago, it was like these big, huge, dark, like way over exaggerated angle right here. And then the inner part was just like a big, huge square and just so dark. I really think where the brow trend is right now is going to be flattering for pretty much anyone. And you can kind of make it your own, but just kind of take the more straighter shape with like a smaller angle, and then a lot of people call it like an ombre brow, where it's a lighter on the inside and then it goes darker. That just mimics your actual natural hairs, because nobody's brow is like so heavy and full in the inner part. It's more kind of sparse, and then it kind of fills in as you go further back. So I think it's just really flattering to do the ombre brow, but not so crazy like a lot of people do that I've seen on Instagram and stuff. Just kind of a more natural version of that. And if you only do that to update your look, I think it will just make you look more fresh and just bring you to this year, bring you to 2019, make you look a little younger, and that you kind of know what you're doing, and just complement your face shape a lot more than, you know, a big blocky brow or a really, really thin line. I don't know. So I'm going to zoom you guys in and we're going to fill in my brows. All right, now you're zoomed in and you can actually see what I'm doing. So like I said, first I'm going to take the Benefit Gimme Brow. Just going to brush that through my natural brow. And I mean, you can see the difference already. It just adds a little bit of color and a little bit of fullness before we go in with anything else. And it's going to make the next step a little bit easier. I do like to let that dry for a minute or two so that when we go on top, it's not wiping it off. So I'll just let that dry. So now taking the NYX eyebrow pencil, and this is the shade Ash Brown. First thing I like to do is brush through them. Just kind of get them where I want them to be. Then the first thing, we're going to go underneath and just kind of do this, the whole line from inner to outer on the bottom. So starting, and then I don't like to go all the way to the inner part. I keep saying inner corner, but it's not really a corner. I don't like to start where my eyebrow starts. I want to start a little bit back because, like I said, I like to do the more ombre effect. And if you just go real hard in that beginning portion, it's going to be really hard to blend it out. So if you just start a little bit back, and just kind of like that, I just underline the whole brow. Okay, then what I like to do next is kind of do the line on the top of my brow. Again, starting a little ways back. And I just go little tiny strokes at a time. So I'm getting, if you just do one all at once, it might be a little too big, or it might go out too far with it. So I just like to do a little bit at a time so I can see where I'm going and what I'm doing, and just kind of connect the two bottom parts in a nice, very small kind of tip to the brow. Go ahead and do this side. And I always anchor my hand on my face. Like I rest it here, or I rest here, just so then you're not like wiggly and bumpy and jerking your hand all around. It's just nice and stable. And I think everybody has like one brow that's better than the other. This one is my bad one. For some reason, this outer corner always like looks weird no matter what I do. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So then once that's done and they're kind of even, I like to just start at the back and just start filling it in. Just little tiny strokes at a time. And I basically leave this front area blank while I'm filling it in. So then once I get to the inner portion, I'm barely doing anything. I'm just kind of going over it really, really lightly. Just adding a little bit of color. Then I take the spoolie side and just brush through it. Then you can kind of see any spots that need a little bit more. And I think that's pretty good. Alright, so that's pretty much filled in. And if you want to get a more clean line underneath, I would suggest taking some kind of concealer. I'm using the Anastasia potted concealer in the shade 0.75 and just a little tiny flat angled brush, or just a flat brush, not angled. You can use an angled one too. I just get a little bit, dab it off on the back of my hand because you don't want a lot. So then we're just going to go right underneath the brow, and this will just help clean up that line and just give you a sharper look for your brow. So, and again, I don't want to start in the very inner part. And then as I'm putting it on, I just slowly drag it down. So I'll go ahead and do the other eye. So then as a final step, I'm going to take the Anastasia Tinted Brow Gel in Chocolate. And this is going to help just coat the hairs in like a little bit of color. and help them look a little bit fuller. And also if you get powder on your brows while you're doing your makeup, this is going to help take that, like get rid of that powdery look. Or you could just use a clear brow gel if your brows are dark enough. And also this is just going to help set them in place so they're not falling or moving around during the day. So I just really like a brow gel for that. And that's pretty much it for my brows. Alright, so that is it for this video. Let me know in the comments if you liked this video, if you learned anything. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.